What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Pelagics. This is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, April 28th. If your first time here, we do this each and every week on Thursday, bringing you the latest, greatest information off the water. Don't forget to check out our website, chasingpelagics.com. You can find all of our videos, how-tos, and whatnot for your SoCal offshore fishing. Quick look at the weather here. We have a moderate trend of clouds today on Thursday and into Friday, slowly warming up back into the weekend. And let's review our windy.com model. This is going to be the tail of the tape here. Thursday, we got those wicked onshore winds out there on the outside, creating a little bit of an eddy formation. Might see a little bit of partial cloud cover as we work our way into Friday. And this little eddy rotation here is going to help our water temps after they got knocked down pretty hard last week. But it's going to generate a little bit of a west wind swell. So if you're thinking about heading outside behind the islands or on the outside of the islands, just keep that in mind, as it's been pretty brutal out there. 15 knots plus on the outside. So as you go into Sunday, you can tell this thing really ramps up on the outside, 21, 22 knots. So pretty consistent stuff there. So if you're heading way offshore, keep that in mind. I don't think you want to be. So quick look at our current marine forecast. As you come into Thursday, again, possible moderate drizzle with this eddy condition. West swell 35 feet to 8 seconds on Thursday. Friday starting to lighten up a little bit, up to 9 seconds. And then Saturday down to 3 feet, which is helpful. And Sunday starting to creep back up again west of 4 to 5 foot. Now, if we start getting out there a little bit further west, we're in this 4 to 6 foot west swell. Still going to be right there at 8 seconds. So probably a little dodgy if you're in a smaller boat, but let's keep that in mind. Our current look on our charts is not so fantastic this evening. They're not quite cooperating. I don't have a good chlorophyll chart to show you this evening, but when I viewed it briefly earlier today, the water is pretty turned over and green for the most part in most areas, but the biggest concern is along inshore from, well, we'll call it Palos Verdes all the way south to San Diego. There's been a pretty rough upwelling over the last several days, last weekend, and what that has caused is some extremely low temperatures along the coastline, dipping into the mid to low 50s. It was frigid on Sunday. I put my toes in the water, super cold, and what that has also done is caused a lot of upwelling, very thick chlorophyll layers along the coast, and also we have some red tide that's starting to seep back in. So that red tide is going to shut off a lot of this inshore fishing. If you're a shore fishing guy, that's your game. Not going to be good for the next week or so. So pencil yourself in to getting on a boat. Now, as far as the fishing is going, this week, man, I don't really get a lot of reports for the Channel Islands. I'm not going to name out any particular spots, but I can tell you that if a white sea bass is on your bucket list, now would be the time to probably pencil yourself in for the Channel Islands, whether it be on the Aloha Spirit or on another boat like the Endeavor with Tucker. The OG guys that fish sea bass in the Channel Islands would tell you this is a good time. And the fish that we've been seeing, 40 to 60 pounds, is absolutely unreal, especially in our lifetime. And to put that into perspective, usually a fish that's in the 40 to 50 pound range is somewhere in the 35 to 40 or 40 years old range. So to be able to keep just one fish of that size in our lifetime and to catch it on a hook, it's pretty spectacular and doesn't happen very often. So I think we're in for a treat this year with this double La Nina going back to back, and your sea bass dreams are coming true today. So if you have a chance to go fish for white sea bass, especially in the Channel Islands, now would be a good time. And I've been holding back on some white sea bass information myself. I went fishing 3 or 4 weeks ago with the boys from Bite Sport Fishing, and we whacked them really good at Catalina. And the reason why I don't say too much about white sea bass fishing, unless it's already been reported somewhere else or it's pretty obvious, is the guys that fish this stuff, they spend a lot of time on it, and these fish are called ghosts. They're not easy to catch, especially big ones. And there's times when they bite, and a lot of the times they're nowhere to be found. So I don't want to blow up any spots for anybody. This stuff usually sticks on to a couple of particular areas. But if you fish Catalina before for sea bass, typically the east end, backside, from the Farnsworth all the way to Church Rock, Seal Rock, those areas are pretty well known for squid beds and sea bass. So if you find the squid, you can typically find the sea bass. But that being said, Catalina, a little bit more mixed fishing this week. Last week seemed like it was a little bit better. But what you're looking for if you want to go sea bass fishing is those turquoise waters. The last couple of weeks with this turned over water is really churning up the sand. And this turquoise waters through the kelp beds usually creates a pretty good habitat for sea bass to hide out in. And usually if you can match that with a squid spawn or a squid bed in the area, that usually gives you all the signs for a good reason to go fishing for sea bass. So check that out. No current dope on what the squid situation is at Catalina. There's a little bit here and there from what I've heard, but no standout locations. The Carnage is not selling squid, but I'll tell you that if you've ever fished for sea bass before, they're pretty much lazy eaters. Dead or alive, it doesn't matter. As long as it's a squid and it's in front of their face, they're going to eat it. So I'll leave it at that. There is a couple of yellows on the island that have also been found, but again, cold water turned over on the backside. Probably not going to be the best conditions for yellowtail, but if you find some clean water, probably better chance on the front side or at the east end, and you got some good current, you might find some yellowtail under some birds. Not giant size, 10 to 15 pounds, but they are around. This week also, Freedom 22nd Street has been venturing out to San Clemente Island when they've been open, and they've been scoring a couple of sea bass, some halibut, and some yellows as well. Most of the stuff has been coming from the dunes area up here at the northwest side of the island, also near Northwest Harbor. However, you can also find some squid and the usual spots down here in Pyramid Cove near the anchorage, near the caves, and there's a couple of yellowtail around there as well. So really got to find the conditions for the yellowtail, but the sea bass are going to be on the squid grounds. A lot more yellowtail fishing than sea bass in this area for both the dunes and Pyramid Cove. And make sure that you check the weekly forecast or the weekly schedule for the island to make sure that you're able to fish those areas that you want to fish. Wow, it's been a standout year for sea bass already, and the bluefin have not disappointed yet either. So most of the San Diego boats have been headed down south here. Earlier last week, we mentioned that they're at the upper hidden, the lower hidden, and then after the wind, they went all the way down here to the upper 500. Been down to the double 220, a little bit east and west, but generally this area right here has been a pretty good location for a large variety and biomass of bluefin. And the guys on the day and a half and longer trips have been scoring fish up to 100 pounds, and as of lately, a couple of standouts in the 150 range as well. Coronado Islands have been turned over and turned green with the weather the last few days. So no one is really fishing the islands based on those conditions for yellowtail. So most of the three-quarter day boats, such as the San Diego, have been out here fishing for bluefin offshore, not running into any real kelp-headed yellowtail whatsoever, at least as of the last week or so. But they have been managing to find a good handful of bluefin each and every day so far this week. Generally in the 30 to 40 pound range, more of the schoolie size. So that was a lot of the size that was down here at the upper hidden. That's kind of slid up here again. And then as the season goes on, we have a lot more larger fish sliding up and up and up and up, following the current north. So as the season goes on, again, we're in April here. 5 years ago, you're not even looking for this stuff until maybe Memorial Day at the end of May. So we're way into bluefin season, way early again, which is a spoiled treat for anybody if you've lived in California this long to even know what the hell has been going on, because it's bonkers. This is the good old days that you're living. You can catch a 50-pound or 60-pound white sea bass at the Channel Islands, and then we could head over to San Clemente Island, catch a yellowtail or maybe a sea bass, or we can head down to Mexican waters, catch a 150-pound bluefin. Wake up, guys! If you can get on a boat this year, early season, what we're seeing right now is absolutely phenomenal, and do not take this for granted. So that being said, have a great weekend, guys. Be safe out there on the water, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingpelagics.com. And make sure you share the stoke.